Hi. Today we're going to be focusing on the core. Core is obviously associated with crunches and challenges and flat bellies and all this sort of thing. We're going to try and broaden our perspective on this central area and connect with it from perhaps a different, perhaps from the, let's say from the inside. And to do that, we're going to generate heat in this area. So if at any point you feel as if there is a slight giving way in the abdominal muscles and your back is taking the strain, that is the sign to take a step back. And there'll be many options for differentiation throughout the session. So just be sure that your back is protected and you need to keep your abdominal area engaged through that. So when I say engage your abdominal area, if you just see me now, my belly is really relaxed. My back is a little bit rounded, you know. When I engage my abs, when I engage my core, I draw up. So already this action of lifting the creases out of my t-shirt, lifting my belly and making it longer, engages the abdominal area. I'm also thinking about drawing my abs, my core up, almost as if it's going to come in between the rib cage. It's like one analogy that's been really useful over the years is like you've got that tight pair of jeans to put on and you need to suck your belly in, and that will create that connection, that drawing in and up and lengthening in the body away and out of the pelvis, lifting the rib cage up. That's the sensation you want. Just be sure though that your rib cage isn't splaying out. So every now and again it could be useful to draw a palm across the front and the back body just to make sure that the lower ribs are still in line with the trunk and that you're not sticking and splaying out the torso. So there's lots to think about in terms of alignment in this practice. Now we're going to start off on our backs. You can have your knees bent. And I'd like you to take one palm and place it where you think the gap is beneath your diaphragm and above your pelvis. Take a nice deep breath and see if you can feel some connection with what is underneath your palm. And then place your other palm just above that. So in the area, there's like a space underneath your rib cage. Place your other palm there. Now you suddenly, perhaps if you want to close your eyes, you become more aware of this front side of your body, not by what it looks like, but simply that it is there. And that nice kind of is quite a reassuring feeling, placing the palms on this belly area. If you ever are in pain or upset, it can just be very nice to place your palms on this area. Very centering, okay? So core stability helps us keep upright, keep strong in our postures. So obviously that comes into action, particularly in some of the postures that we come to today. But it also is a centering in terms of physiological. So we talk about feeling ourselves, feeling in ourselves, feeling strong in our identities. And we tie this into the gut feelings and our instincts. Draw it away from mental intellect and bring it into our instinctive intellect. And this wisdom is often neglected, or we often disconnect ourselves from it. So let's take a moment really to tune in to this area. Lovely. So I'd like you to also feel, so you've made good contact with the front side of the body, I'd also like you to really feel your pelvis in the ground and your tailbone. So you may want to just wriggle your hips slightly or lift them up and lower them 1 millimeter or 2 down the mat and feel the lower back release into the mat. So this connection with the mat is really important in any of the seated asana that we come across now. Asana is Sanskrit for posture, because you need your lower back to feel supported. If at any point your tailbone, your lumbar spine starts to arch, so you could perhaps get your hand underneath your lower back, I don't know if you can see my fingers pointing out there, that's a point to stop and see if you can again draw your navel in, press it down into the mat and get that engagement back there again, because that's what's protecting your lower back, and it's really important that you do So, to start off with, we are just going to practice a little bit of contraction and expansion within the sensation of the core. So let's draw, first of all, the knees into the chest. Place the fingertips over the knees, pointing down towards the toes, and exhale. Squish the air out of the lungs. Keep the tailbone drawing in. As you get to the base of your exhalation, peel your shoulders up as if your forehead's coming to your knees. And then inhale, lower down. And again, allow your lower back to really unravel. So it'll peel off a little way, but I don't want to have bums completely off the floor. You want your lower spine in the ground. At the top of the inhalation, when you feel nicely full of breath, exhale one more time and draw the forehead to the knees. Inhale, lower down, release the spine. Again, you can practice with your eyes closed here. I don't know if you were here last session, but I was talking quite a bit about tuning it into your practice, not what it looks like, but what it feels like, and having your eyes closed is a really good way to do that. Final exhalation, press the breath out of the ribs, out of the lungs, draw the forehead up, and then inhale, release, just release the head down onto the ground, wriggle your shoulders, relax your shoulder girdle down, and then we're going to lower the palms down by the side, so they're supporting us a little bit. You can have a little bit of a rock backwards and forwards on your hips here. Feel how your palms can control that movement, so your spine is nicely supported by the mat, by your palms too. And then we're going to start to expand. So I'd like you to inhale, good preparatory movement, draw your navel in and up, and then exhale, extend just your right leg out. So you could have your left foot down on the floor here. If you feel ready, you can hover it above the floor. Inhale, draw that leg in. Exhale, lift the leg up and away. Inhale, draw it in. Exhale, right leg stretches out. Inhale, draw it in. How's your lumbar spine? Is it pressing into the mat? Exhale, extend the leg out. Inhale, draw it in. So now we're going to do both legs together. You can have your legs apart. Exhale, extend the legs out. Now we're going to hold it here. Keep your lumbar spine pressing into the mat, your palms pressing down into the ground to help draw your pelvis. So you draw your pelvis up. You draw the navel down. Inhale. Exhale. If you're ready and you feel strong in the abdomen, you can draw the arms up so they're also pointing to the fingertips, pointing towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. On your next inhalation, draw knees into chest, wrap your arms around them. And then inhale, we're going to expand outwards again. Exhale, wrap your arms around your knees. Inhale, inhale, and then exhale, expand out again. So inhalation is the easy movements. Exhalation, you've got to engage your core as you lift up. Now, the next time your arms and legs are both up in the air, I want you to keep imagining that you've got like almost a little nail drilling your belly down into the mat. Keep your lower back nice and flat on the floor. This is an investigative movement. I want you to see how long you can go until you feel as if your lumbar spine is going to lift off the mat. So it may not be too far at all. You might be almost down to the mat with your legs. When you get to the point where you feel your lumbar spine is about to lift off the mat, simply bend the knees and place the soles of the feet on the floor. Then I'd like you to draw your fingers tips into a basket weave and just place your head lightly in there. So I don't want your neck to be completely relaxed into your hands there. I want you to have a little bit of command over the strength at the back of your spine, the back of the cervical spine. So lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin. Inhale, draw the knees up. Now, this isn't particularly yoga, but it is going to get you firing through the abs. So we're going to extend the opposite You're going to extend one leg, cross across the body, tap the opposite knee with the opposite elbow, and then switch round. So we're cycling here. Good. Keep that belly drawing down into the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Relax down. Come over into all fours. So take the palms underneath the shoulders. Spread your knees about hip width apart. That's 2 fists distance. Inhale, lengthen through the body and expand the right hand away and the left leg away. Take your right palm to the hips and just check that your hips are equal. Now that is more challenging on the core than if your left hip is peeling up and back. So yes, it's more challenging and I sound like a nag, but that's what we're up for today. Extend the palms away, the foot away, and an inhalation. On an exhalation, scoop the belly and draw in, round in, the knee and the elbow touch. Twice more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Lovely. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place your right palm down and then draw your left knee out to the side. Hold it there. Inhale. Exhale, let the knee come down, but just hover. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, draw up. Hold it up and just draw a few little circles with the knee. Forwards and backwards. Lower that right knee down, and then we're going to repeat on the opposite side. So take the weight into the left palm, rotate the left eye of the elbow in towards the center. Hover up the right leg. The left palm just checks that the hips are equal distance from the floor, parallel to the floor. Engage the navel, draw nice and long in the body. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. Check in with the hips. Engage the abs. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, place the left palm down. And I'm not mirroring you for the moment, so still your right leg. Inhale, draw it up out to the side. Exhale, down. Keep the right knee hovering. Inhale, up to the side. You can even gaze back at the knee if it helps. Exhale, down. Inhale, up to the side. Hover. Draw some little circles with the knee. 1, 2, 3 in one direction. And the same in the other direction. Lovely. Lower down and then press your feet. Press into the hands and feet and come into downward facing dog. Inhale and imagine the inhalation drawing up through the palms. And then exhale, send the exhalation down through the heels. Take a couple of rounds of breaths like that. Come into your breath. And can you draw the breath really from the belly? So remind yourselves of the sensation of having palms on your belly as we had at the start of the session. Now under those palms, there's a nerve center. That nerve center is related to your nervous system, your adrenal glands, your digestion. There's a lot of processing going on. So the next time you think your belly is just for telling you when you're hungry or for annoying you when you want to get a smaller size trouser or skirt, remember, don't insult its intelligence. There's a lot more to it than that. Exhale, take your gaze towards your fingers and walk up towards the palms. So I'd like you to have nice bent knees here and just feel a good compression in the belly and the chest against the thighs. Shake the head out, get any tension out of the neck, and then inhale, draw up to standing. And come into some standing postures now. Inhale, draw up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back the right leg, coming into a low lunge, left knee at the front. Keep the left knee tracking inwards over the second toe, and then extend back into plank. So lower the bum, keep the belly engaged, perhaps your back round. Lower the knees, the chest and the chin, untuck the toes, inhale, cobra. Exhale, place the palms, send the hips back towards the heels. Nice deep inhale, feel the back body broaden. Exhale, release the breath. Inhale, come back into downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, we're now going to step the right leg through in front, into between the hands. Come into a nice low lunge. So you're getting into the hips here. Inhale, lift the upper body away. So think about drawing your navel away from your front thigh. If you want to lower the back knee, you can. And then we're going to exhale, step both legs together, the front of the mat, and come into a forward fold. So your option here, you can bend the knees, you can keep the legs straight. Relax the shoulders, wriggle through the shoulder girdle, relax the jaw, the tongue inside the mouth. Relax your brow and your gaze. Tune into how it feels to have your belly compressed in the forward fold. And then see if, just by drawing your navel in, you can maybe suck a little bit of your belly away from the forward fold and in deeper into the crease of your hips. So that just takes a little bit less space and you can maybe increase your forward fold touch. As you exhale, bend the knees and then inhale, draw up. Exhale, Tadasana, place the palms on the belly. Tune into the belly breath. The color of the chakra in the 7th chakra order is yellow. So as you place your palms on this area and perhaps close your eyes, you conjure up a feeling or a color or a sensation. And for me, yellow and light are kind of sisters. So I'm feeling very like I'm emitting a lot of light right now by really tuning into and focusing on this chakra. Inhale, let's draw the arms up and keep generating the heat. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the right leg back, and this time the left leg comes straight to meet it into plank. Now I'd like you to lower down if you can. You can lower your knees at any point. Lower down onto your forearms. So your core is going to be kicking here. Send your heels away from you, draw the navel in. Relax your shoulders, relax your gaze, relax your tongue, relax everything apart from all the muscles recruited in this forearm plank. So drop to your knees at any point, otherwise hold it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down. Bring your palms out to the side of the mat. Let your legs split open a little bit. You're coming into Sphinx. So just wobble your pelvis into the ground. Inhale, lift up. So you want to find length in the front body. Even when you're on your tummy, you can feel that expansion in the solar plexus, the sun center. Radiate it. Good. Bring the palms back underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes, send the heels back, sit the hips back towards the heels, and then lift up into downward facing dog. So come up onto your tiptoes and really imagine your navel is drilling up into your spine. And then exhale, lower the heels a little bit. Inhale through the palms. Exhale through the legs, lower the heels a little bit more. Inhale through the palms. Exhale, lengthen through the back body. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bring the right knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen the right leg away. Exhale, knee to nose. So keep your gaze through the legs. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Come back to down dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. One more time. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. I'd like you to lower your right knee down into the middle of the mat and bring your right palm underneath your right shoulder. Extend your left leg away so the outer edge of the left foot is pressing into the mat. And inhale, draw the left hand up. If you want a little bit more with me, come into side plank. So keep that rotation in your forearms. So your eye of your elbow is pointing to the left long side of your mat. Place the weight through your arm, lift up off your right knee, extend onto the outer edge of your right foot as it comes maybe just in front of your left foot, just crosses underneath your left leg. Take your focus up to your left arm. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Come down bit by bit. Place the right knee underneath and just come into a little child's pose. Have a rest. Inhale, take your focus forwards. Come back into downward facing dog. This time place the left knee down in the center of the mat and the left palm underneath the left shoulder, also in the midline of the mat. Expand your right leg out so the outer edge of the right foot is coming into contact with the mat. Inhale, draw the right arm up. This might be enough for you. Otherwise, you're going to have to engage your abdomen. So you're drawing your obliques in and up. The left side of the body is strong as you lift up. You bring your left foot just in front of your right on your outer edge of your left foot. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knee, whoop, lower the knee down. Come back to center. Another moment in child's pose. You choose your variation. Inhale, look up, tuck the toes. And then you can step or hop to the front of the mat. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down to Tadasana. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, sit down into chair pose. So here is a really good one for your core. You do need to stick your bum out, but then you need to round your pelvis and imagine that somebody's scooping out the belly. So you have a nice kind of feeling of space in this area. So you draw the navel in and lift the arms out to the front. Lovely. Bring the palms together. Your right palm comes to the outside edge of your left knee. So you're coming into twisted chair. Keep everything going into the center line. You'll feel really strong that way. So the knees are together, the heels, the sides of the feet. Your right elbow is drawing into the midline against your left outside edge of your left knee. You're smiling. You're drawing your left shoulder back. Great. So this compression and twisting in the abdominal area is great for aiding digestion and elimination. So what you do not need is being encouraged to leave. Great. So it's going to take a little bit of courage now, so that we're building on that, aren't we? To step our right foot back. You're going to keep that abdominal area engaged. Step back into a lunge, twisted lunge. Great. Just check your toes are relaxed. And if you want to, you can expand your right palm down, your left arm up. And if you want to go a bit further, take the gaze up to the left thumb.
Bring your gaze down, and if your left palm was lifted, bring that to the outside edge of the left foot so that you can step back into plank. We're just going to refresh our spines by coming symmetrical into down into up into upward facing dog, and then down into downward facing dog. Before we come into this on the opposite side, so in reverse, bring the right foot forwards. So the back left toes, they're pointing forwards too. Now we need to inhale up and get some length in our front body. Bring the palms together, feel long there. Draw the navel in and up, the rib cage down, and then find the twist in the upper torso. Take the left elbow to the outside edge of the right foot. If you want to span your left palm down and your right arm up, keep your back leg strong so you push through the left heel. Your back knee is straight unless you want to bend it down for a bit of support. So that courage, that same courage that we needed to step back, we now need to step forward. Bring your palms back into prayer, and then let yourselves have the space and the confidence to step your left leg to meet your right. You come into the twisted chair on the opposite side, so keep your hips in line with your knees if you can. Don't let them roll out to the side. If you want to, you can actually extend here as well, whatever you prefer. Then inhale back to center, lift up, back to Tadasana. Place your palms on your belly, close your eyes, connect with your core. So this core that keeps you upright, it supports you. And if you go a bit further with that kind of metaphor, it also identifies you. It's your boundary. Courage and strength emanate from your center. Wonderful. Now we're going to step the left leg back and come into triangle pose. It's going to be a variation, so just watch the change. We need to keep really strong in our obliques, okay? So in the waist. Just let's mobilize through the waist. Identify that area with a little bit of movement, lubricate it. Inhale and exhale, front and back. So you get a nice bit of movement along the lateral plane. On your next exhalation, come down into triangle. So the front leg is straight in triangle. Just make sure that with your left palm, you can draw your left hip open. So you're rotating your thigh outwards. Your left hip moves up, your left shoulder open. So wherever you usually take your grip in triangle, come there. But we are going to lift that support away. Can you keep your body along parallel to the mat as it was? Keep drawing it up. Reach forward with your right hand. Reach open with your left shoulder. If you want to lift your left arm up, that's an extra challenge. Hold it. 5. Keep straight in the front leg. 4. Press the outer edge of the back leg. 3. You want to be in a straight line, so in between 2 panes of glass. 2, 1, excellent. Lower your gaze. Bring your palms either side of the front leg. Now you can bend the front leg. Walk your right foot over to the right side of the mat and bring your left foot a little bit shorter to the left side of the mat. So now your hips are parallel to the front edge of the mat. Inhale, draw long in the front body. Exhale, keep the navel drawn in as you compress it and you come down. So the forehead comes towards the knee. You tuck the chin. So this is a good way of compressing your thyroid. It's good for your metabolism as well as compressing the abdomen. If you want to test your stability, your core, come off the fingertips and take hold of opposite elbow. Inhale, draw up. And let the arms come out to the side. Rotate through the torso once again. So your left arm is now reaching forward. Your left hip is still drawing forward. And you're going to draw that left palm down to the midline of the mat, just inside the front of the right foot. Keep the left hip drawing forwards. And then inhale, come up into your revolved triangle. So the right arm lifts up and your gaze follows to the right thumb. See if you can keep your thumb and your nose in line. Keep your right hip drawing back. Now you feel the strength this requires in your abdomen. And if you don't, perhaps you're letting your hips swivel too much. Let your right hip keep drawing back, your left forwards. Lower down. And then inhale, come back up. Bring your heel and your back foot back into the midline. So you can come into warrior two. Bend 90 degrees in the front leg. If you can't quite, if you're more than 90 degrees, your stance might be a bit short. So just lengthen your stance by increasing the distance between the feet. Lift the toes, release the toes back down. Bring the shoulders up to the ears and then let them drop. Ah, catch your breath. Gaze over the front fingers. Inhale through the belly. Exhale. Do you notice when you engage with the belly breath that things seem to slow down? Inhale up to the center. Bring your feet parallel and then rotate so that you can come into warrior two, bending 90 degrees into the left leg this time. Belly breath. Inhale. Now you may need to step your stance just a little bit shorter to come into triangle. Reach down with the left palm, reach up with the right. Reach up with the left waist. Keep your right waist engaged too. And then when you're ready, hover your left arm out to the side. Ooh, I've got a printer in the way, that's quite challenging. I'll just have to bend up at the elbow. You can always, of course, drop the right palm down. Maybe use it to keep the right hip drawing open. Lovely. Relax and let your palms drop down either side of your front foot. Move your front foot to the left side of the mat. Hop onto your back foot and bring your back foot a bit closer and further to the opposite, so the right side of the mat. So you've broadened your stance. Inhale, lift up, draw the navel in, draw the right hip forwards and the left hip back. So to do that, you could put your thumb in between the crease of your hip and draw the hip back that way manually. Great. Inhale, length, exhale, release down towards the front leg. So this is quite strong in the legs, and a good kind of metaphor that somebody gave me once, or good thing to imagine, is that you've got a crease in your mat, and I actually happen to right now, and that you want to draw it out. So you have to draw your front foot forwards and your back foot back to try and get rid of the crease. If you want to take opposite elbow behind you, do, but just remember to come back to the neck and relax the neck, the forehead, the tongue in the mouth, the jaw, the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the inner thighs working together. Inhale, draw up. Lovely. So keep the legs as they are. Expand the arms out to the side. This time, draw the right arm forwards. Place it down on the midline of your mat. Let the left hip draw up. Sorry, let the left arm draw up. Now the left hip wants to draw back. The right hip wants to draw forward. What does that do to your abdominal area, your solar plexus, your core? See if you can start that movement in your abdominal area. How does that change the motion in the body? Lovely. Come out of that and walk your palms around so that you are wide-legged along the length of the mat. So wide-legged forward fold, sort of, but we're going to heel toe the feet together, toes pointing out, palms together, drop down into a squat. So the elbows, the inside, the knees, press against each other, create a strong midline that way, and also with the palms, so you can lift through your torso, lengthen the belly. Great. Love this pose is just juicy, 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 especially after standing postures, right? You're releasing everything in the spine. Maybe have a little swivel backwards and forward. Great. We're going to come in to crow, but we're going to practice it first of all on our backs. So if you would just like to release your hips down and come to lie on your mat, release your back down, draw your knees into your chest and then let them come apart, and let your hands come through in between your knees. Now I'd like you to imagine that you are pushing on an invisible wall that is just above the length. It's just the length of your arms away from you. Okay, so that is getting you that good stretch through the wrists. And this is what you're doing when you're in crow. Apart from, it really takes muscles in your abdominals to keep those legs and hips lifted. So let's just stimulate that area a little bit. I'd like you to take a nice deep inhalation, draw the lower back, the lumbar spine into the mat, and then exhale, expand your arms and your legs away from you. Keep the lumbar spine in the mat. Remember, if the lumbar spine pulls off, you let the knees bend and your feet come to the floor and you support it, you push it back down again. Inhale, come back into that upside down crow. Relax your feet. Palms are working and wrists are working. Exhale, draw the legs away. Inhale. We'll do this once more. Exhale. So arms are lifted off the mat, legs are lifted off the mat. Good. Inhale. Give yourselves a nice big thank you. Whew. Roll over onto one side and let's get going with crow. So for crow, again, you might want to come into your squat position. I'll show you face on, if that helps. So perhaps come to standing, feet just over hip width apart, palms together. Inhale, draw up out of the floor. Exhale, come down, plumb down the midline. And wriggle around until you find yourselves feeling nice and supported in your squat pose. Then take your palms out in front of you. Inhale, lift up so your hips are getting long. You might even want to stretch right through, straighten the knees. So you get that idea of what it's like to be putting weight through the arms. Now check that your arms are twisted so the eyes of the elbows are facing inwards, and then walk your feet a little bit further together towards each other. So I've got my feet, I think that's first position in ballet speak, is it? With the heels together, the toes pointed outwards, bend at the knees and lift up onto the toes. Then rock forwards, test how your balance is. Now the difference here is if you're stable or you're unstable is your navel. I tell you it's your navel. Draw your navel in and up. Keep your hips lifting high. There is a sense of expectation in your core area. You are going to ask it for something big. You're going to ask it to hold your legs, your lower body up. So focus on that. Now bring your palms a little bit closer towards your body and see if you can rest your knees on your upper arms. Then one at a time, you want to lift off your feet as you draw them closer into your body and keep your gaze lifted about 50 centimeters in front of you. Hold it there. Keep the navel engaged. 5, 4. If you fall out, smile, laugh, feel joy like you're a baby. 3, come back. 2, and 1. Hey. Wonderful. I hope that went well for you. Remember, you can practice again, pause the video, if you want to, if you enjoyed that challenge. Now we're going to come down onto the floor. Extend both legs away, so away from you. Fantastic. Bend your left knee up and hop it over your right. So you can stay here if you like. I'm actually going to turn around to the side so you'll have better visibility of the posture like that. So my left, your left, here you go. My left foot is down the opposite side of my right foot. I've kind of strung that up. So you can roll over onto your hip and tuck your right foot underneath you. I'm going back to this view, I think that's better. So you have your left leg over your right foot, and what you can do is simply roll onto your right hip and draw your bend at the right knee and draw your right heel towards your left hip. It's an option, you can take or not, you can take it or leave it. Either way, the next thing you're going to do is inhale and draw your left hand behind you. Place it behind you on the floor. Yeah. Place some weight into that palm. And then your right hand is going to take a hold of your left foot and you kick through that leg. So you kick through the left leg and your gaze goes right behind you. Feel that space that you're taking up. So maybe you can wrap your fingers over your soles of your foot, over your toes, and push through the heel of your lifted leg. Keep your spine nice and long. So your belly is engaged. It's involved in keeping that leg lifted, but your hand is also doing some of that work, not all of it. And you're also getting a twist as well. So lots going on. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Let's release that leg down and then come into a reverse. So you want your left arm to come over the outside edge of your left knee. So if your leg is straight, it will look like this. Extend your right hand behind you, lower it down, and just feel the draw through the shoulders and the spine. So this is a counter twist. Navel draws in, it keeps your spine long and supported. Lovely, and then release, come to center. We'll just come through Baddha Konasana, so a little fluttering of the wings. Fantastic. Draw nice and long. Keep the chin tilted. Imagine your spine is being drawn upwards by an invisible golden thread. Relax your gaze. Soften your mouth and your jaw. If your tongue is pressed to the roof of your mouth or against your teeth, just let it hang out. Great. Let the shoulders drop down the body. Okay. Then we're going to extend the opposite leg out in front of us. So this time it's the left leg. You hop the right leg over the left. So again, you can opt, you can just come over to your left-hand side and tuck that left bend at the left knee and bring the left heel towards the right hip. That will give you this structure, this pyramid-like structure in the legs. Now you need to take quite a grasp over your knee to keep it drawing into the body. Extend the right leg, the right arm behind you, place it on the mat behind you, maybe about 50 centimeters, so that you've got a nice tall spine. And then work your hand, your left hand, down towards that front foot. Find the front foot, lift up the front toes, extend that left leg away from you. Keep gazing over your right shoulder. Keep pushing through your heel, your lifted heel. Lovely. Bend at the knee, release the toes, and come into your counter posture. So this time, your right palm comes down the inside of your front knee, Again, if your leg is extended and you just need a bit of a visual guide, this is how it should look. Extend your left arm behind you, place it behind the spine, so about this far behind the spine, and take the gaze over to the opposite shoulder. Come back to that sensation in the belly. Release and unravel your legs and just come into a comfortable seated position. So it could be legs crossed, or you could sit on your heels. So we're just going to practice a breath, pranayama breath, called Kapalabhati breath. Now this is a breath where it's said to cleanse the skull. And part of the reason for focusing on the core today is to remind ourselves of the wisdom that we hold within our core, within our gut. And in fact, in the scientific field, there is a lot of research going on into just how important your gut is to your overall health and well-being. So there's no harm here in wanting, in intending to override what is going on in our skulls. Or we always kind of, yes, we associate thoughts with our mind, with what's going on in our skulls. So we're going to cleanse that a little bit with this Kapalabhati breath. Now the Kapalabhati breath is a little bit like the breath that you use to blow out a few candles. So simply done, it's very easy to overthink this. The only thing you need to concentrate on is the out breath. You will, as a natural reflex, thankfully, draw the inhale in quickly. You don't need to think about that. So we're going to do 3 rounds of 10 exhalations. That's 30 candles. So anyone who's 30 or over, you should be hitting this at least once a year with all your candles at birthday time. So let's have a go. Take a nice deep exhalation first. Stick out your tongue and let all the stale air out of your body. Inhale, draw the navel in, sit up nice and straight. It can be said that that's as refreshing as an espresso, and it could be more so because you don't have the residual elements of caffeine in the system. I hope you enjoyed the Kapalabhati breath. We're just about to move into our final relaxation. So let's take ourselves back to the mat. Now, just before we do so, we're going to come into a fish pose. So come down onto the forearms behind you. And again, just lift up your pelvis and move it a little bit down, further down the mat, so you can really feel the back of your pelvis expand on the mat there. Now, just wiggle your hips so that you can actually kind of sit on your palms. Palms are facing down. Let your head drop back. Perhaps shake your head out a bit just to release any tension. And then let the crown of the head come to the floor. Now, option here, if you're up for a bit more core, is to lift the legs up off the mat. Now, if you're feeling quite strong in the core, you can wriggle off the palms. Keep the lift in the chest and lift the arms. Hold it there. Otherwise, you take the variation that suits you. 4, 3, 2, 1. To come out, first of all, lower down the arms and the legs. Pop the palms back underneath the buttocks so you can get some weight through the forearms. Push down through the forearms so that you can lift off the head. So no weight going through the neck. Tuck at the chin and lay the spine back down onto the mat. Lovely. Let's just windscreen wipe the legs left and right a little bit to release through the hips. Now, if you have any final movements you want to do in this practice, please take the opportunity to do that now. Otherwise, we're going to come into our relaxation. So you may notice that I have come straight into Supta Baddha
Uttanasana, so my feet were flat on the floor, knees together, and I've just let my knees splay out and then the soles of my feet come together. Personally, this is a really nice option to take for a relaxation that's about to come, because it makes the whole solar plexus feel like it's really uninhibited. There's very little constriction, very few creases in the front side of the body. And of course, you can always opt for your regular Shavasana. So just make sure again that you lift the hips up, place them a little bit further down the spine so that you really can release through the pelvis. Or you can either, you can just stay, if you like, with the knees bent, and then you even get to push a little bit into the pelvis. Okay, so that can feel like a nice release after a lot of core work. So can you opt for what feels best for you? Remember that, you know, I'm facilitating this practice, you're the one doing it, so you have to decide what you're going to do. And again, come to place your palms. So one, just in that kind of area where your rib cage isn't, so the triangle above the navel, and then another palm just below your belly button. So you're really kind of covering quite a big area there with your palms. Maybe spread your fingers slightly. Allow a little bit more space to grow there. So you'll already hopefully be tuning into the area that you're touching. That's a very natural response to contact. And before we go completely into the kind of center here, just want you to take a moment to check in with your brow. Relax your gaze, relax your brow. Relax your tongue and your mouth and your jaw. Relax your shoulders down to the ground. Maybe even lift your shoulders up off the mat, lower them back down a millimeter or so further towards your heels on the mat. So you're feeling really well supported here. The back body is really nice and comfortable on the mat. Now bring your focus back to the palms and the rise and fall of them as your belly breath drifts on the inhale and the exhale. You can lower your eyes. So as I previously mentioned, that shade that's associated with this chakra is yellow. And yellow is brightness, isn't it? It's light. So if there's a color or a word that you can relate to the heat of the sun, to the brightness of hope, draw that word, that sensation, that feeling, that vision, draw that into the center of the body. So if we kind of treat ourselves like little like our centers as dynamos, there's a lot of metabolizing going on here, a lot of processing and digestion. When we treat the center of ourselves with respect and kindness, it's going to emanate from us, from the center to our extremities, to the area around us and to others around us. It will come naturally. We have such a tendency to overthink. Keep that connection to your center. Feel the breath slow and steady and full. Feel the realness of this area of yourselves. Feel how alive you are underneath your palm. Allow the brightness and the lightness to emanate from your front body. Now this area, it also is vital in its connection between the spine, the head, and the lower part of the body, the reproductive organs, the connection with the ground. So we can start to expand this lightness, not only in the front part of ourselves, but along the backs of our bodies too. The liver and the kidneys, the whole posterior muscle system, construction, and fascia. Now in this seven chakra concept, the seventh chakra is just beyond the boundary of our skin, above the crown of the head. When you're breathing from your belly, I'd like you to imagine that that breath, that brightness, starting in your belly, expands to a point that is beyond you. As we charge that battery center, we can reach a little further and beyond. We can break the patterns of thought and feeling and reactions that we get stuck into thinking are representations of our true selves. And we can reach a bit further beyond and grow and embrace a little different perspective or insight. We're going to come out of the relaxation now. But as you do, please can you keep very mindful of that connection to the center of ourselves. How long can you keep this very connected feeling going? At some point after this practice, you may realize that that connection is weaker or lost altogether, in which case a simple placing of the palms on the belly will remind you, draw you back to the center, your solar plexus. Very gently come upright to seated position. Namaste.